It is a good place to be. Alright. I'm just adjusting a few more random shits. Okay. I feel my energy. What are these little hairs? Got a lot of little areas that I'm probably gonna regret separating out. Because you know the rule. If you separate it, then you have to animate it. Not like I want to, but...
Botrix says. Botrix has correctly joined the channel.
Yay. Question being, do I extend this downwards from this layer? Or do I use the head layer? Powdered sugar on your sandwich, would you eat it? I think I would have difficulty accepting it.
Autophidias Gray says. I can't tell if the Gordon Ramsay video is brain rotting me or I have bad attention span.
¿Por qué no los dos? Is what I ask. Why can both not be an option? But what do you mean? Like, how so? Like, are you just like zoning out? Maybe you just gotta sleep.
Autophidias Gray says.
I'm tired.
Or I'm tired.
Well, tired is very possible, ain't it? Today at work, for my last break, I was trying to watch some videos, like some video reviews on wood stoves and how to make a fire and how to cook on a wood stove. But I just started nodding off. Like, just the sound of these guys talking about nerdy fire things, I just like started like leaning forward until like I almost fell out of the chair. And I was like, oh well, that's my 15 minutes well spent. I think that's what I get for having a weird meal. And plus, probably for not sleeping correctly. I kind of passed out in my chair till like 1 or 2, and then I crawled back to bed. I am the master of fucking up sleep. You're the one failing in the kitchen. Why do I need to reload?
Autophidias Gray says. I'm one of those boring people that end up having the same lunch for a week.
I mean... I think that's fine, though. As long as you make the lunch yourself. However, if you tell me that you insist on buying the same lunch every day for a week...
Autophidias Gray says.
I'm so very proud of you. Okay, as always, people at work have a habit of just gossiping about each other's bad decisions. We got this one dude who, you know, he comes to work and he has to get the same things from the mini mart every day, which is like a package of the boiled eggs and a burrito. And this dude is falling apart physically. Like, he abuses his body. I mean, there's so much I could say about him. Lord have mercy on me for being a big-ass gossip. But it's just kind of like...
Autophidias Gray says.
Boiled eggs and a burrito.
Eggs and a burrito.
He's a very strange type of muscle nut. He brings protein shakes and like, barbells and a people have reported allegedly seeing him do what's that one where you you step, you not a crunch, not a crouch. You can see how much I exercise. It's like when you just like step one leg out and bend the leg. No. It's something. Anyway, allegedly he's been seen doing like exercisey type things during his breaks, and it's just, but he also, you know, gets drunk to the point of getting hungover, and also buys boiled eggs and a burrito at work every day. But my point is, like, without judging the things he's doing, my question is, which is better, buying a $3 2-pack of boiled eggs from the mini mart, or buying a 12-pack of raw eggs at the local grocery store and boiling them at home? I have like, I don't know, maybe like philosophical moral problems with the type of person that goes, well, I can't, I'm just too busy. Or they say, like, I don't know if people are scared of cooking. I don't know what the deal is. I am a chef mermaid. I don't know.
Pre-boiled eggs scare me.
I mean, every step of processing that, you know, something goes through is, I don't know, just a one step away from, like, a further step away from the Lord. And I said, I'm not a religious, I don't know.
Gray says,
soapy.
Open up the package and it's soapy.
I've never bought one, so I wouldn't know. But it's like, ew. Like, it's so easy to do at home. Like, set a timer for 6 minutes, dump it in some ice water.
Says, I've had dark days.
Well, I pray the world does not get any darker. May the light shine. I'll sing. There's a song that makes me, that you make me want to sing a song for you. It's called "Let There Be Light" by Nathan Wagner. It's a very dramatic song. It's about this guy like journeying to save his friend. And, you know, I don't know if anyone else, I know there are people like this. Whenever I hear a song, I design a type of like music video in my head and like a story to go along with it. So in my head, the song is a story about a guy like traveling the world to save a friend that's like trapped in a tower. At some point there's like a lot of fighting and sacrifices, and then there's the big climactic, you know, boom of the song. And then I imagine like lightning dragons, and I imagine the world is like wrapped in darkness and only like the few characters are carrying the light. I am like a weirdo. Alright. I also like, I'm bad at my job. Alright. Now that I cleaned up a little, I can see what's wrong. And okay, so I guess symmetry, right? Some semblance of symmetry is like what life is about, so. Dude. I once made an individual pizza. I think anyone with a semblance of knowledge on how to make a real pizza would probably see my pizza and immediately slam me to the ground and drag me to the gallows. But god damn it was my pizza and it was okay. It was better the next day. I spent about an hour shredding pork and chicken using this weird finagling tool.
Autophidius Gray says, what did you do to the poor thing?
I made it myself. And I didn't even have the skills to throw the pizza dough in the air and make it round. I took pictures. Wait, let me bring up pictures. I'm sure you're just in wait, like unbelieving. You're not gonna believe how tasty these may or may not look. I also made ground sausage gravy, no, ground turkey gravy and homemade buttermilk biscuits. I took pictures. Where are they? Where are they? Pizza. Come the hell on. I know he took pictures of them, so why? I gotta. Lord. Did I just take a picture and then not post it anywhere? And they're just like on my phone. And now I have to send them to myself. Maybe I just dreamt it all. No, they gotta be on this one. Alright, it's official. It's a disappearing pizza act. I know I took a picture of these dang pizzas.
Autophidius Gray says, schizo.
I fear myself. Was it in December? Because my pictures go from Thanksgiving to December. It was when my roommate already got back, so alright. It had to be between. Okay, it's gotta be somewhere. It's gotta be somewhere. Just give me like 5 more minutes. And if I don't find this, then I am crazy. I mean, because it can't be in any of these pictures. Because these are just from... Anyway, well, I'm crazy. I don't think I ever made those fucking pizzas, which means that I never failed. But I did make the pizzas. I thought I took pictures of them because I take pictures of everything I make. Because I am a wannabe influencer. But anyway, I made them from scratch. I shredded chicken and pork. And, you know, made the dough. And could be a mixture of, like, maybe not proofing or etc. the dough enough. It was a bit chewy, a little tough. Could also be maybe too much time in the oven because I wanted that cheese nice and melted. This is not making sense. This is like too... Okay. Like this. And other things I've made, well, I've made a lot of different food. I like food a lot, which means I cook a lot of varied things. I've made bone broth. like beef and chicken. Okay, I did not think that putting a rotisserie chicken carcass in a pressure cooker would actually have any result. So I waited until I had 2 in the freezer, and then I chucked them in the pressure cooker for about an hour with lots of water, and it's pretty good chicken broth. No complaints. I'm taking it to work tomorrow with an instant noodle pack, so that I'll have luxurious instant noodles with chicken broth.
Delicious.
Thank you. I only believe in eating things that are tasty, so I'll actually prefer to not eat at all if the choice is between something that's not tasty. Okay, sorry that all these messages show up. It's this platform. There's a reason this one platform, whenever I open the pop-up chat and scroll through it, it does that. How you doing, Redstone? I don't know what happened at work, but one time they had a team meeting, and the supervisor was like, and yeah, if any of your team leaders or anyone else sees you leave the bathroom without washing your hands, that's gonna be an automatic write-up. No talkbacks. I was like, who the fuck disgusted some higher up so much that he has to say this?
Autophidias Gray says.
Midnight.
Midnight yippee.
The new day has cometh.
Honestly fair.
I mean, it's definitely the type of company where you gotta wash your hands. There's like hand sanitizer things, every fucking place. But you just gotta imagine, like, what type of event may have occurred that this had to be mentioned. Okay. Then we got this area. I'm finally warming up a little. I think it's because I was like messing with water. I was cleaning dishes. I was like playing with water. I was cleaning my new pens and then rinsing them out after inking them up and playing with them. So I find this really interesting that there's like this concept where if you stick your hand in an oven, you don't immediately get burned. You feel the heat, but you're not dead. But if you were to stick your hand in a pot of water at the same temperature as the oven, you'd be toast. Right? So like the water I don't know. I'm probably saying all the wrong terms, so if you're a temperature, water, etc. nerd, please don't hate me. But like the water can transfer the heat to you so much better than just air. It's kind of, how sweat works. You sweat and it evaporates, and this may not apply at all to the current sentence, but the way sweating works is that, you sweat, the water evaporates from your skin, and that helps cool you off a bit. So what was I saying? So my point is, I might be more cold than normal just because, I always wet my hoodie sleeves, which means I'm always kind of like a little moist. Wait, I'm supposed to wash my walls? I had a fermented drink explosion, and then my roommate was like, hey, could you, scrub the kitchen ceiling? And I looked up and I was like, well, I can try. And I did try. We've both agreed that maybe those stains were up there all along. Alright. This is kind of like a puzzle. You know, I see this from the outside, and then I isolate the layer, and I see this. And I have to make them make sense. I have to draw the parts underneath. Hop, up, up, up. I don't know, I probably don't have to draw the entire, but I'll draw the entire torso. I mean, it's a very simple torso. I want to see how he makes pizza. Look at all those fresh ingredients. Nah, there's this video. I get recommended a lot of TikTok reaction.
That seems very confusing.
I've said so much nonsense that I'm not even sure what's confusing. The way he makes pizza? Or the thing I'm doing. I hope the delay isn't too bad. It might be a little bad. Did I turn on ultra low latency? Yes, it is. Well, I can only blame myself. But yeah, a lot of like.
Reds Zero Nikat says. The delay is a little off, but I meant the layers and stuff.
It's weird. I don't know why it's bad compared to the previous days. Let's see. Oh, it could also be. Where is the YouTube chat? Here it is.
Autophidias Gray says. I used to work in a small little restaurant before realizing the industry ain't for me.
I have this desire to kind of get experience in every type of industry that I can.
Querrieoh says. Hey.
I'm just testing. A little delayed, of course, but like I'd like to work in a food truck. I'd like to work in a restaurant, but you know, not like committing to a permanent position. Just like I'd like to experience a little bit of everything. Even though I know some things are very torturous, like retail and waiting, you know, hospitality industries. What did you suffer in the small restaurant? Was it successful? Right. And yeah, Redstone, I mean, it can be the first few times, and then soon, if you do it enough, you just kind of start thinking in layers when it comes to drawing. Like, you see the character, and you can already kind of imagine all the layers they'll need. Because I once had a gig where my only job was cutting apart characters for VTubing stuff, or telling an artist how their character needed to be cut up. I got to do my favorite thing in the world, tell other people what to do. As in, I got to sometimes like direct the artist into what they needed to do to make the drawing of vtuber ready. Event requirements. Must come hungry, or willing to pretend you are. Wait, is this a... Okay, it is an eating context. I was quite confuzzled. But it's a shame he didn't do as many hotel hell shows and seasons. That was my favorite. Just combining, like, or just like, it's very interesting how bed and breakfasts run. Or in those cases, some were just hotels with, I don't know, each one had a very specific story. See, because I kept those dang lines in, I don't know what to do here anymore. So just fucking go for it. More sufficient? You almost got it. You almost got it.
Autophidias Gray says.
Dude.
Maybe if I was a bit better at communicating and working with a team I would still be there, I don't know. Autophidias Gray says. My job RN helped a lot, so.
You know, I feel that because, well, this is the job I have is my first ever job, and like I started it like just horrifically. I cried a lot at what most people would probably perceive as very, petty reasons. Like, I don't know, I would cry when people yelled at me. I would cry if people were mean to me. I would cry if people were rude to me. I would cry if people didn't listen to me. Etc. I would cry when coworkers misbehaved and risked getting fired because I was worried about them being fired. And then they would just do that thing anyway, and anyway. But after all these years, I feel like I have grown as a human being. Because before that point, I, went to school, came home, went to school, and I didn't talk to anyone at school. I had no friends.
Reds Zero Nikat says. That's kinda sweet.
And now the work days are chill. I no longer look at everyone with suspicion that they are gossiping about me. Instead, I gossip about everyone else. Like that's like a major issue I had. Because people talk to make the time go by. And I don't talk. I don't talk a lot. I only talk when there's like an actual something to talk about. So like I'm always suspicious when like people can talk for hours on end with the same group of people. For me, it's like, you talked to each other for hours yesterday. What more could you possibly have to say today? And then it starts becoming like, what if they're talking about me? And it didn't help that I got like massively bullied by this one Puerto Rican lady. You know that someone's gonna be trouble when they're your junior and you train them, and like a few weeks into their, becoming a full-time employee, they start trying to correct you and get on your ass. Yeah. Oh no, it's the opening day and there's a backup. There's a local place here where it was run by this cute little old lady and probably her husband, and it did like pizzas and probably like Greek, question mark pastries, or maybe like Italian, or maybe just like it's that cliche where, okay, it's pizza and there's these like types of pastries and desserts and stuff, and the food. The one thing is that it was really, really greasy. But it was acceptably tasty. And whenever you went, they would always have bins of day-old things that were cheaper, and cheap slices of pizza and etc. But then they did sell the place, and we went back when it was under new management, and the vibe was just off. Now, what I'm about to say is gonna probably sound very stupid. But, like, I went up there and I was like, "So what's on the XYZ?" And the guy was like, "Well, it's XYZ. It has XYZ on it." And I just felt like very ashamed. Like, well, I don't know. I've never had XYZ. I don't know anything. I didn't know that was like the ingredients. I just thought it was a name, but not that I said any of those words. But it was at that moment where we like kind of stared at each other. And I was like, okay, I'll have that. And then I had it, and I didn't like it, and I never went back. And then they sold again. And I was like, yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. If that guy was like that to me, I don't think he had much of a chance. And it felt like, because it felt so soulless. Like, if, I don't know, it felt like he was some guy, some business guy, who thought, running a restaurant? No big deal. Or I think maybe it was that he may have bought the restaurant with plans of reselling, and so he was just kind of like running it until he found a buyer. I wouldn't say it's like prime real estate.
Autofidia's Grace says, I deal with soulless business PPL all the time. Autofidia's Grace says, they suck.
I mean, if they're vampires. I'm doing this like fur textured thing on this one area that no one will ever see. For no fucking reason. And it's not even matching with the rest of the style. I'll have I'm just a bit insane. Yeah, so it's interesting, on the floor at work, sometimes we'll have people from the client businesses or from like different departments, because of course there's like the assembly type department that actually makes things. There's a safety department. There's kind of like the businessy people, or like the number crunchers, or maybe like the people that just like sit in chairs doing things mostly. I don't know what they do. They do something, but sometimes they come in and they walk around. They look at us like we're animals in a zoo. That was very interesting. But the biggest deal is when the clients come in, right? Then we gotta make sure everything's clean, and they just kind of walk around and, well, gawk at us. Like, yes, these are the machines that you pay millions for us to run. And these are the lowly peons that run these machines. Watch them run around.
Autofidia's Grace says, I can't imagine working a job where you move a lot.
I couldn't either. Well, because I was a fat ass before and during. I only became less of a fat ass like this year.
Says, you better be getting paid real good to do that.
I feel very lucky. I couldn't pay rent without my 2 roommates, but I feel very lucky in life.
Autophidias Gray says,
Oh.
Fuck you, Automod.
Well, I was already living where I lived. Oh. Okay. I was so confused. Okay, look, we're on a new topic of different types of jobs. And you're talking about, I can't imagine a job where you move around a lot. Funnily enough, I was once asked if I was a military kid because of how much we moved around. This is, of course, before I got a job, when I was still in school. Because I moved between about 2 states around 3 or 4 different times. Can you imagine you go to school in one school district, one city, for about till you're in like middle school, and then suddenly you're pulled out, gotta go to another state, whole new middle school, whole new whatever the fuck, They each have their different education systems and requirements and state testing and all that. And then imagine being pulled out and you gotta go back to your first city and you gotta like reacquaint yourself with the people that some remember you, some don't.
Autophidias Gray says, I grew up in one state my entire life, only 2 towns ever.
Hey, I mean, it's not a bad thing. The world is big, but it doesn't mean that you gotta explore every inch of it. But I don't know, people get paid big.
I've been on my fair share of travel though.
Oh, I see, and then I have not traveled much, except there's like one place. Well, I go to my home country every few years, and that's a whole experience, right? I've driven cross country between the 2 states I've lived in a few times. It's been a while since that, though. I feel like I need to travel in order to like broaden my horizons, but I'm a little scaredy cat. Like, I want to go to South Korea. I'd like to go to Japan. I'd even like to go to China. Mostly because I'm a hungry bitch and I want their food. That is the real reason.
Autophidias Gray says, I need to bring my white friends to China.
I'm not white, but can they come? I want food. I want a hot pot. Do you know the depression that is wanting to go to a hot pot restaurant but having no one to go with? No one. And then you buy the ingredients to make it at home, but it's like it's just sad because all I have is a big pot.
Bro, the food is so good.
I love Chinese. There's an authentic Sichuan. Okay, well, look, don't laugh at me out of ideas grade because it's probably not authentic to your grade, but there's a quote unquote authentic Sichuan restaurant near me, like over 40 minutes away, but it's worth it. They serve you family style.
A huge dinner at a restaurant in China was only $23 when I was there.
Yeah. Tasty. They served us family style, which I was so unused to it, but it was so good. So every dish on the menu was actually about like enough for more than one person. So the first time we went there, we each ordered a dish, which means there was like 3 shareable portions plus the rice.
Captain Price at least in 3730 says, hello, Quer.
Hello, Captain Price. How are you doing?
Captain Price Ethescan 3730 says. How are you doing today?
I'm doing alright.
Autophidius Gray says. I've also been to South Korea and Japan but not mainland.
How's the food? Just tell me the food was good.
Captain Price Ethescan 3730 says. Hey, where do you have any siblings?
Well, I come from a family
Autophidius Gray
where
says. Yes.
it was common to have like 7 or more children. For example, my mother has 7 siblings. It's very fascinating. I have trouble remembering all my uncles and aunts. And apparently I have like around 50 cousins. Or like 50 like relatives. And then they started having babies. God damn them, I can't remember them all. Okay, the food was good. Okay. I don't know how I'm ever gonna make it to these countries to eat their food. I'm thinking like just a food tour, which is probably like a very overpriced way to do it. But what can you do when you're just a girl? I should do it like that guy from a TikTok meme. Wait till there's some attack. Go wild sheep. Not that I wish for there to be any attack. I just wish to be cheap. Look at Gordon Ramsay saying that 26 and 29 for fancy beef
Captain
cuts.
Price 3730 says. Hey, where have you ever heard of a model named Sabrina Banks?
No, she sounds like she was dated vtuber or Jake Paul or something. But no, I don't follow.
Autophidius Gray says. Is 62 degrees cold for y'all?
I could stand to be in a 62 degree. Like I try to set the thermometer to around 60, but the other two always set it to around 65. So I think it depends on how your body is running. Because like your body, depending on the state of being.
60.
It's for the heating prices, but
Autophidius Gray says. 65.
yeah, 65 is the max. It's currently winter here. What can I say? We value blankets. I like at work.
Autophidius Gray says.
I'm weak as fuck.
I'm weak AFWTHHIG.
I mean, it's fine to be weak.
3730 says.
No idea.
What about cherry needles?
Cherry needles sounds like a food.
Captain Price Ethescan 3730 you leveled up to level 3.
We
Gray says. I happen to live in a tourist trap of a state that doesn't like being cold.
We're in Florida. There's this one guy at work who brags that he has like a heater under his desk.
Gray says. Yeah.
He works in a climate controlled building.
Captain Price Ethescan 3730 says. Hey, where are you from America?
I am currently in America. Are those Brussels sprouts? You might not be able to see, but it looks like art. It looks like 6 Brussels sprouts.
Captain Price Ethescan 3730 says. I'm from America too.
Congratulations, you won the birth lottery. You could have been born anywhere, but you were born in America. Make use of it. Don't let it go to waste. Remember that there are a lot of people that died trying to get there. There are a lot of people dying trying to get there. Let me remember. I made something with onion once, and it got really sweet. And only then did I like realize how onions like can actually like with that whole point even as like caramelizing onions like yeah they can get fucking sweet.
Autophidias Gray says. My Florida adapted doesn't like anything under 63. I'm cooked.
Ah, you'll adapt to wherever you gotta go next.
Botrix says. YouTube chat check.
I mean, I was taking walks in like roughly like 30 to 40 degree weather, but it's different because if you're moving, you know, you're generating heat. It's much more bearable than when you're, for example, sitting doing nothing. You feel it way more if you like can move. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I'm now shaking my body violently. The more you can move, the more you can stay warm. But then I was reading some article where it was like the key to maintaining warmth in the cold is that you also you can't move to an extent that you start sweating. This is like in a survival situation, not a like normal exercise situation. Because in a survival situation, if you're so cold that you want to start moving to stay warm, but you start sweating, the sweat, of course, will cool you down. It's a bit, you know, a balancing act. Get some fuzzy socks, get yourself a hat. Never underestimate the power of covering the spots that leak heat.
Autophidias Gray says. I don't think I ever needed a hat.
Well, if you're chilly, think of how much more powerful you'll be. You'll be so warm. I mean, you'll never complain about the cold again.
But I am in a really cozy blanket though.
Yeah, just you gotta believe in me. I'm not talking out my ass. The heat from your blanket is escaping from the top of your head. Right? All your precious heat is escaping. That's also why you gotta pull the covers over your head and create a microclimate. Like, have you ever noticed, like, when you go fully into the covers and tuck in all the sides, and you just like breathe, you can feel the warm air like staying inside. You make your own little wonderland. Yeah, it's like that's a real strategy. Though for some reason they say like in a sleeping bag. Not to.
Autophidias Gray says. You are a very knowledgeable / philosophical potato.
Yeah, but everything I say is bullshit. But I believe it. I am quite philosophical. I mean, I saved the Irish. I must be very philosophical. Even though I'm a dirty starch. When you eat me, other than my nutrients, I turn into sugar.
Autophidias Gray says. I mess with fries DW.
Word. I had some air fried shoestring fries a few days back. I like to dip my fries in Wendy's chocolate smoothies. If you've never tried, don't rock it.
Air fryer.
And I got one for free. I would have never gotten one if it wasn't free. So everything is much more delicious because I got it free. Although I am debating on whether I have to declare it on my taxes.
Wendy's smoothie and fries thing.
It is decadent. Alright, look, since time immemorium, which is probably the wrong using of words that don't exist, but since time itself, the mixture of salt, crispy, and sweet and gooey. You can't go wrong. It's just like the salt and the sweet, and then the different textures. I mean, if you're like a texture autist, then maybe no bueno, but if you're like me, I love comparisons. So it's just mm. Like I also love salted caramel and chocolate covered pretzels. I love those types of combinations. So it's just my vibe, you know?
Autophidias Gray says. The sweet and salty.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Rescue me from this food that you put in front of me. I caught it from the freezer, Gordon.
Autophidias Gray says. I need to go back to China one day, unsure when though.
I don't know what either, but bring good food back.
Autophidias Gray says. Headed to the Ozarks over the summer though.
My home. Though I never explored it, so I just stayed in one town. But it's kind of sad when you think about it, right? You live somewhere for so long, but you never really saw or explored the places that made it famous. Yes. The elk is gonna bite you back, is what I'm hearing.
Autophidias Gray says. My dad's side of the family is from Missouri, apparent by their extremely pasty white appearance.
Well, I love my Missouri people, alright? They raised me right. Except for all the times where I was severely antisocial, but I am the way I am today.
Autophidias Gray says. I did learn what price chopper was though when I went there last.
Now, the only two grocery stores I knew, no, the only three for most of my life were Kroger, Aldi's, and Walmart. Only after I moved out did I learn about other stores, which I never went to, because I continued going to Walmart and Aldi. I'm very blessed that all these cross state borders, or I mean, like just all around the U.S. It was very comforting to
Autophidias Gray
move.
says. I know Walmart, Publix, and Aldi. Autophidias Gray says. Publix.
I've never been into a Publix. I still don't understand them. I only know they exist from body cam videos. The other things that I only know from body cam videos are Wawas. And I think that's it. There's and other things. I don't know.
Autophidias graces. Founded in Florida.
Ooh.
Autophidias
You walk
graces.
in and
Wawa is a East Coast thing.
it's so weird. Wawa. You walk into a Publix and there's a chance you get eaten by a crocodile. They should have their own crocodile mascot. Scallops. Ninan. Not me browsing the YouTube feed and seeing what there may
Autophidias
be
graces.
to watch.
I've had gator before, so I don't know if that's the same as crocodile meat.
Well, alligator is different from crocodile. Oh, okay, no. You're not asking that way. You're just asking if it tastes different. I don't know. Apparently in Brazil, crocodile head is some sort of delicacy. I bet it just tastes like chicken. No, it always fucking tastes like chicken.
Autophidias graces. Frog legs taste like chicken.
I haven't gotten to taste frog legs yet. I might have. Maybe. I'm not remembering. But I've had chicken feet, I've had pork feet, well, because a lot of dishes I know use like pork ears, feet, bones. I've had beef
Autophidias
tongue.
graces. I don't FW feet.
You don't fuck with feet. It's so pork feet, pressure cooked pork feet. It's a texture. It's like chewy, and you're like digging for all the meat. I mean, and you don't eat the toes. I mean, they usually trim off the toes and leave just like the fatty skin and meat. But you pressure cook it, and the whole broth is just, like a miracle broth full of collagen and nutrients and all that. But there's this one dish that takes a long time to cook where it's just a big pot where it's sausage, feet, ears, and then also I think beef, but it might be like dried beef. Yeah, dried beef chunks, and then also pork belly chunks. Yeah, and then beans. And I guess the secret ingredient is also an orange. You know. I also like intestines. I tried beef intestine is way easier to cook than pork intestines. I gotta do all those individual cleanings. Really, mostly pressure cooking and slow cooking. That's how I do. Well, these strange ingredients, most of it is either pressure cooked or slow cooked, because people, you think, I'm never ever gonna eat. I'm never gonna eat chicken feet. They're just like weird. Well, have you ever tried pressure cooking it? They become like noodles. You just fucking stick it in your mouth and slurp. Then you get to have fun dissect, like you have to have fun taking it apart in your mouth and then outputting the bones. Or if you pressure cook them long enough, even the bones can be your victims.
Autophidias Gray says, do you FW seafood?
I fuck with seafood, sure. I had a Walmart clearance raw oysters. That might have been like the closest I've come to risking my life, but they were like $3 off. So yeah, I think it was like $9 normally. It was like in this cylindrical container in the seafood section at Walmart, and it had
Autophidias Gray says,
just a tad sketch.
just a tad sketch.
They were just like a little green and slimy, but I cooked them. I think I just like sauteed them. I mean, I love shrimp. I love shrimp with the tail on. Let's have a moment of silence because I was gonna buy some clearance Walmart shrimp, $3 off again, $6 for a big tub of raw, and I forgot it at the cashiers, and I'm very sad. But I'd like to try eel. Like, I've had mussel. I mean, I've had canned calamari, jumbo calamari,
Autophidias
or
Gray
whatever.
says, eel is fire. Autophidias Gray says, I love eel.
I think I've had eel like on a sushi roll, like some kind of eel whatever, and I like it. Like I can't say that I'll fuck with anything but bugs. That's my limit. I'll try everything once, but I really don't want to try bugs. Okay, back to work after searching through the YouTube feed.
Autophidias Gray says, gotta pay me to eat bugs.
Alright, so you want to hear an interesting... Okay, too bad I'm gonna say it anyway. So there was this French company that wanted to become a bug, like a bug breeder and distributor. However, they were not marketing themselves towards human consumption. Instead, they wanted to market themselves towards animal feed industry and later on pet feed industry. But they went under because they got a lot of investment and outside capital support. However, they only found the profitable niche late down the line after they had already been very many millions of dollars in the red, and they just couldn't pivot fast enough, and then they just fell under. But I want you to guess which one was the profitable one, the animal feed industry or the pet food industry. Animal feed as in cattle and sheep and pigs, like feeding the food in a way, like the farm animal type feeding.
Autophidias Gray says, Autophidias Gray says, the animal.
Wrong. You are wrong. And the reason is actually quite interesting. It's because animal feed is a matter of scale and economy. None of the farmers or even like the big industries wanted to pay a markup for bug animal food, which was just a middleman. Because okay, think about this: the bugs eat the plants, and then they would be ground up and fed to the animals. Well, why not just feed the animals the plants in the first place? Because that's kind of what they eat. So because the bugs were being mostly fed the same sort of grain food that the animal livestocks were being fed themselves. So these farmers would be paying, or like, these livestock farmers would be paying a markup to feed their animals bugs that had eaten the same grains and plants that they would have just fed their animals. However, the pet food industry is purely about markup and perceived luxury and perceived quality. So it was the perfect place for them to be like, get your pet the nutrients and protein they need from a natural source. Help keep the world, I don't know, like get your animals the proteins they need without supporting the the livestock industry, animal slaughter, blah blah blah, blah. Or our pet food is all natural. We got a environmentally friendly source of protein. All these types of like marketing things they could say to market their pet food. When it was working, the thing is they weren't profitable because they were so much in the red, but they realized that the pet food industry was very popular. But it was also a lot of fish, which to me makes sense. Like a lot of fish food. Fish food, I think, was their biggest category. I don't remember what other categories they might have thought about, but yeah, they weren't at all thinking about trying to market towards human consumption, which is smart. I mean, if someone were to put a weapon to my head and be like, "You have to come up with a bug eating industry now," I would definitely go towards food, like animals, feeding the animals and not feeding the humans. It's fascinating. Like, we already got like plant protein powders and plant protein things. I wonder just how soon until they like manage to like word it in a way that doesn't disgust people immediately.
Autophidias Gray says. Cyberpunk 2077 era when the animals went extinct.
I don't know, if I had to choose between the animals going extinct or the humans, I'd rather play Tokyo Jungle. Yeah, but I have not played Cyberpunk. Is that like a real thing? The animals are all extinct? You can have a pet dog in Cyberpunk? Wait, I clicked one Kitchen Nightmares episode, now my YouTube feed is just fucking Gordon Ramsay. Or credit card debt stories.
Says, yeah, your pizza topping are like avocado and anchovies.
I mean, I don't hate that combination. I ate a bowl of pure avocado today. I mean, I probably would have been better off if I had a can of anchovies to give it some flavor. Sardines is where it's at, though. Alright. Let me pretend to keep working here.
Autophidias Gray says. The EP is catching up and I gotta work TMRW.
Yeah, me too, honestly.
Wise potato, thank you.
I appreciate you sticking around. Good night, oh traveler and food connoisseur. Please have a great night. Work well, sleep well, rest well, stay warm, and etc. I'm probably gonna be turning in pretty soon. I would love to just lean back and fall asleep in my chair, which I have done more than once, even on stream. So at least I can say that I did work a little bit today. That'll be a success. That's one success at a time, you know? A lot of days, it's not about finishing, it's about showing up. You know, interesting trivia. The the passion fruit. I mean, it really. I guess they called it that because of the colors. No, I mean it isn't it like mostly yellow, but in actuality, it's a very calming fruit. I mean, there are a lot of very calming teas made out of it. So it's a very contradictory name. I would say. Do not think the passion fruit is, very exciting or invigorating. It is a bit sour, I suppose. It's definitely one of those fruits where you gotta mix it with sugar to enjoy. Where's the sketch of the back wing, or is that my only hint? But I suppose that those few pieces are my only hints. But I do believe that I will be going to bed. 31 a.m. I gotta make it to work. But well wishes and good night to all. Good night.